Hi, I'm Bill Holcomb, and thanks for joining me for another beginner's watercolor tutorial. This week we are painting a desert road sunset scene. So let's get started. I start with my mop brush and some clear water at the top of the sky. Come down a little ways, and then we'll go into the Indian yellow, still using the mop brush, and then we'll go into the alizarin crimson with Indian yellow mixed together. And we'll come down to the horizon line, go over those distant mountains, that's fine. They're going to be a darker color. And remember to mop up the edges here and there when you can. Use a dry brush or tissue. And then we've got the blue sky starting from the top, Antwerp blue, still using the mop brush and mop up. And today I'm using Fabriano Artistico 140-pound rough. So the absorbency speed for this paper is a little bit slower than if I was using Arches. So I'm now purposely pushing some of that excess fluid off the paper onto the tape and then mopping it up. Because as I said, the absorbency is slower. Then I'm going to use a flat brush for some cloud formations. You can start with your Antwerp and alizarin crimson mix. So a fairly dark blue mix at the top for those clouds. And then as we progress down, we'll add some color. And there's some clear alizarin crimson coming in for more variation in the clouds. And as always, everything will dry a lot lighter than appears right now when applied to the paper. Now, because I have my board at an angle sloping from the top to the bottom, about 25 degrees, 30 degrees, the pigments slowly creep down, enables me to have control. And so occasionally you may find me using a dry brush to mop up some of that pigment where it is streaming down a little bit, which you can see here and there in the clouds at the moment, but we'll come to that later. So shape up those clouds as best as possible. Purposefully created this sort of V shape on this occasion. Here I go with a little bit of mopping up at the bottom of the clouds, a dry flat brush and tissue. And then I'm adding some more of the yellow down to the horizon level because I don't want that drying too much on me. The Indian yellow you will find dries much quicker than the Windsor yellow. You'll get used to this when you've painted enough times using different pigments. A lot of my tutorials have been using Windsor yellow and Windsor blue, but for a change, we've got some different colors. You can choose which colors, of course, in all of these tutorials that you would prefer to use, what you have to hand, etc. So dried much lighter, and then we've got distant mountains, and you start with some of the dark blue mixture with something like a number 6 brush and run that along at the top of the ridge there and just add some water at the bottom, let that fuse in. Dry that off, and then once dried, you can strengthen as you wish for the different mounds. Then you can use your alizarin mix for the closer peaks. And then on the left-hand side, these are much more defined and interesting shape on the peaks. Start with that dark mixture at the top, let that run down, and add some clear water at the bottom. So we have a nice misty sort of feel to it. And you can use a mixture of the alizarin crimson and the Antwerp blue for a strong color to add to the top of the peaks and let that fuse in. So we have some interesting shapes going on. This is a good one for beginners to practice with because you've got a lot of wet in wet took place with the cloud formations, and you've got some practice to go on with regards to the distance and mountain ranges, etc. Now, for the roadway, we've got the Antwerp blue to start with, and as you can see, I'm painting around the road markings. That is called negative painting, where we leave something, we paint around it. On this occasion, we're painting around to leave the white of the paper. The English style of transparent watercolor paper painting leaves the white of the paper for your whites. You can use something like a number 12 brush if it has a nice point still to it, so that you can have accuracy for painting around those markings. There are also white lines at the side of the road, which I'm avoiding. They'll become more obvious later on. And whilst that's wet, you add your mixture of the Antwerp blue and the alizarin crimson. So sort of grey colour, bluey grey colour, and start at the bottom. And then once that's sufficiently wet, you can draw up some of that pigment into the distance. Always have a tissue to hand to mop off any excess and maintain control. Where a lot of people go wrong when they're trying to master transparent watercolor is starting with too much water or too much pigment and thereby losing control. And now the side of the road, leaving those white lines. Same process as we did for the middle of the road. They're both done. Now for the sides of the road, I have the mixture of the Indian yellow and the alizarin crimson. Just mixing the two here and there, giving nice variation. Makes sure that we keep things interesting if we do that, rather than one color only, which would be rather bland. And that's how it is in reality anyway. It has variation. Still using that number 12 because it has a very nice point. If you haven't got one with a good point still to it because it's a little bit worn down, then just go to a slightly smaller brush that has a good point. Whilst that's wet, some more wet and wet going on, just strengthening up there and there, adding variation. But the more distant area will be lighter. And mop up and dry with a hairdryer. Then I'm mixing up a brownish color. So some Indian yellow, some of the Antwerp blue, some of the alizarin crimson. Mix up until you get towards a brown color, and one can be more intense than the other. Now we can use those mixes for the various bushes along the side of the road. And I purposely painting them in a line. You do get that in real life, but just paying attention to that. And it helps give the impression of speed, speeding along the road and seeing those various bushes on the side in that line formation. Just here and there, you can add a little bit of shadow with that blue, and on the ground itself, you can add mixtures of blue and variations of color to keep it interesting and varied. Then using something like a number 2 brush, I'm just shaping up those bushes here and there, various strands, make them as realistic as possible. It's a nice colourful painting, simple in terms of subject matter, but I think effective. And if you practice this one, you can learn a great deal from it as a beginner. You, of course, can choose to do variations on it. You may choose to put a few birds in the sky, yeah, whatever you wish. But I'm hoping that from these tutorials, you'll be learning the various techniques and then applying those techniques to your own masterpieces. And here we are, a nice finished painting. I hope you've enjoyed that, and I look forward to seeing you next time.